Hello, everyone. Welcome to Online Seller UK podcast. Today, we are talking with Thomas, CMO at sellics, and our topic for the discussion today is about key advantages of bid optimization tools. So, welcome, Thomas.
Well, thank you. Thank you, Prabha. Thanks. Great being here.
Right. Excellent. So, Thomas, why don't you introduce yourself and we'll take it from there.
Yeah, happy to do so. So, first of all, thanks so much for inviting me. Great to be on the show. So my name is Thomas. I'm the CMO of sellics. sellics is one of the leading all-in-one solutions for Amazon sellers, brands, and agencies. And yeah, bidding is one of the big topics that we have in the industry.
Yeah, excellent. So we see there is quite a good trend of brands and sellers and vendors. Everybody's trying to spend on Amazon advertising, right? And this seems to be a trend, very recently, I would say, because to win that first position and so on. So what's your take on this? Where other things are going with advertising?
Yes, I think right now, to be honest, I think there's almost no way without advertising anymore on Amazon, right? So if anyone searches something on Amazon, depending on the search term, you in most cases have 80-90% of ads, which basically show up above the fold, right? So there's probably 1-2 organic results. So even if you're doing amazing SEO, right, you're already pretty much position 8-9 because everything above you is ads. So right now, I think without advertising, it's almost not possible to really get a significant amount of traction.
Okay, excellent. So I think it leads down towards talking about bid optimization. So when ads are running, so how does this optimizing bids work?
Yeah, so optimizing bids is basically a science itself, right? So for anyone that's listening to the podcast, that has worked in the advertising industry for quite some time. So bidding is at the core when it comes to having great performing campaigns in an auction. And Amazon is no different, right? So on Amazon, bid optimization is the key thing. It's one of the key things to really be successful, and it's complicated, right? So there are many people out there that really try to learn it, they try to master it, and they try to be good at it, but it's still something which requires a significant amount of time to really crack.
Okay, so there are various ways to optimize bids, I would assume. So what would be the process optimizing the bid?
Yeah, I think the principle or the basic principle of any bid optimization, or also of any AI solution or any rule solution, is essentially divide and conquer. Divide and conquer means that you really try to figure out what are the best performing ones, what are the worst performing ones, and what are the ones that are the way you don't know how they perform yet. And the goal is always the best performing ones. You want to get more, right? So you start to increase bids. The worst performing ones, you try to decrease bids and to make them performable. And those where you don't know yet if they perform because you probably don't have enough data, then you either wait or you also try to increase the bids basically to get more data.
Okay, so are you saying the campaigns that's performing well in terms of sales, or what does perform relate to, or cost of conversion, or?
Yes, Yes, I think there are many KPIs that someone can look at, but I would say the two most important ones are definitely on the one side, sales. So how much money does really one do? And the second most important one is basically ACoS, right? So the profitability. How much do you basically need to pay to generate a sale?
Yeah, okay. So again, you've started a very interesting KPI, ACoS, and everybody will be sort of following that ACoS. I get calls when the ACoS goes 50%. Sometimes client worrying about the cost is going up. So, but also there is a concept of total advertising cost of sale, right? So how much money you'd actually total spend on advertising to generate sales. So if you would like to explain a little bit more on that, what one should expect in terms of total ACoS, and what's your take on that?
Yeah, it's a very it's a difficult question, right? Because it's one of these questions, where you always need to differentiate a little bit. because it depends on your goals, right?
Yes, yes.
But I would say for most advertisers out there, for them, it's important to be better than their break-even ACoS. And the break-even ACoS essentially means that for every dollar that you invest in advertising, that you're actually generating plus in terms of profit, right?
Okay.
So that you're not losing money. And if you really want to figure out your break-even ACoS, you need to understand the costs which you otherwise have associated with the product, right? So you need to understand your margin. Let's assume you have a margin of 20%, right? Then your ACoS in theory can be up to 20%, and you still will make money, right? But it's above this 20%, then you basically start losing money. So really understanding what's the real margin that you have for any product before advertising dollars is key to understand how far you in theory can go.
Okay, right, cool. So again, I believe to maintain the ACoS, we need to look at some of the bidding structures, and there is what we call rule-based bidding. So can you put some light on that, please?
Yes, so anyone that starts to optimize bids on a regular basis will figure out one thing very quickly, and this is it takes time, right?
Yes.
Because it's not something that you just do one-off and then you're done, right? So it doesn't work like this. So basically, when you try to optimize bids, you need to do this on an ongoing basis, sometimes multiple times a day. And what essentially a rule base is doing, it's automating these optimizations.
Okay.
So you can set rules where basically says, hey, if this is performing very well, please increase the bids. And if this is not performing very well, please decrease the bids.
Okay.
So yeah, I think what you're doing with rules is what you would otherwise do normally yourself, right? You try to put into a very simple if then do that algorithm.
Okay. Yes.
And it does it for you.
Okay. And does it actually work?
It works, right? Of course, you still need to create the right rules, right? And you need to have the right account structure and all of this, right? There's still some, problems like when do you do something? Let's assume you have 10 clicks, no sale. Should you already decrease the bid, increase the bid? Right? All these questions still apply.
Yes.
But depending on how risk averse you are, you can definitely set the rules that will mostly reflect your personal budget and risk profile as well.
Yeah, and I assume these rules are purely based on the goals, right? You mentioned about goals earlier in the conversation. So these rules needs to be different per goal, I believe.
Absolutely, yeah. So if you, for example, have the goal that you really want to maximize sales, then in most cases you will be much more, let's say, inclined to increase bids and to test out many things. On the other side, if your goal is to really maximize your profit, or you ensure that you don't want to waste money, then you will be much more conservative, right? And you will not try out many things. You will really try to double down on everything that works, and everything else you probably will park for another time.
Okay, no, excellent. So now we are going towards AI, and everybody wants to maybe put the ads on and set it and forget it and let the system do the magic in terms of. So can we trust this sort of AI system now? Or is it too early now? So you're giving the money away, putting £1,000, putting £100 a day per campaign. Should we actually start trusting it?
Yeah, I think that's a great question, Prabhat. I think trust is the right word in this context, because basically what you do, you trust your ad dollars. A complex machine, right, which pretty much does everything for you. You don't know exactly what it does, right, but then in the end you see the results. And there's, of course, when it talks about AI and we talk about automated bidding, then there's always an element of trust. And if you can trust a specific AI solution, it depends, right? Depends, how good the AI solution basically is. There are very powerful AI solutions out there, right, which really doubtlessly will do a better job than any human could do, because what an AI solution essentially is doing, it thinks like a human and like from a principle, right? But it just kind of like does this in a much bigger scale. So it looks at many more signals, it looks at many more things that a human could not even see, right? Correlations that a human could not really easily see. And an AI solution does that. But it is also, it has to be said that there are different qualities of AI solutions out there. So not every AI solution is the same. So some are kind of like working better, some others are working worse. It really depends. Do you have the right engineers, the right data scientists, the the right bid optimizers that have really helped to create this AI solution.
Okay, so let's link this back to your tool, sellics. So does sellics work with the AI solution?
Absolutely, yeah. So we worked actually a long time on one of the leading AI solutions in the market. It's called Autopilot, right? That anyone can use that uses sellics and has advertising account. They can use Autopilot as soon as they cross a certain threshold of data, because this is always important, right? So for us in sellics, it's very important that when we use the AI solution, we can pretty much guarantee that it will work, right? So this is why we always rely on a certain amount of data before we really say, okay, now we see that we have enough data, and this is for most people, if they spend more than 2,000, I would say, euro per month, right? They cross this threshold. Then we can say, okay, now this is enough data that the AI algorithm could work on this, and then pretty much do this. And what our AI solution does, it looks in more than 1,000 signals right out there, which a human could not even think of, right? That where the AI solution all the time tries to figure out correlations between conversion rate, performance, and many things, and then aggregates them basically in order to really forecast the conversion rate and forecast the performance. And based on that, it sets the bids.
Right, excellent. So you think that's the future of Amazon advertising, do you think?
Absolutely. I think, for anyone that has followed the industry outside of Amazon in advertising, right? So for example, in the traditional online marketing, Google related world, automated bidding is at this point, I think, used by more than 80-90% of the leading advertisers out there. And I think Amazon follows shortly, right? It's slightly different. It takes more time. There are less signals. Amazon doesn't share that much, right? So there's kind of like a couple of other factors coming into play there. But from a, let's say, long-term future perspective, I definitely think there's no way around AI.
Yeah, and also I believe this helps in language barrier, for either US sellers to when they advertise in Germany, France, Italy, and Spain, or UK to other language. Amazon AI should play a critical role. Okay, cool.
Yeah, because on the language thing, there's one common language around the full world, and these are numbers. And this is the only language that the AI algorithm really understands.
And everybody's after the good numbers, good ACoS, good sales. Right. So I think you've given us a good understanding of optimization in terms of bids, and also you've introduced us to good AI system and how it works. So is there anything else you'd want to add?
No, I think this really touches, I think, on most of the important things. So I think for anyone that is right out there and tries to be successful on Amazon advertising, I would always definitely recommend, anyone that is interested in this topic to start and to try out many things.
Yes.
But it also has to be said that if you really want to scale, you want to grow very soon, or kind of like very shortly, most people realize that you need to set up rules, and many people that set up rules will then very soon, shortly after, realize that full AI-based solutions might be even much more powerful. And I think it's an amazing thing. I think if you really want to grow your business, and if you want to do it the right way, then this is a very, very promising track to change the trajectory of any business.
Okay, excellent. So I think lastly, if somebody wants to find you, Thomas, so where's the best place to go to?
I think best way to find me is just LinkedIn, right? So I would say that's always the best thing, right? So just searching for Thomas Ropel. And otherwise, any of the sellics channels out there, YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, whatever. Also, if anyone writes something there to Thomas, it also will reach me very soon.
Right. Okay. So thank you very much for your time today. So I'll share this later on with all the audience as a YouTube video. So for anybody who is listening to us today, it will be good to if you could share this video as well to people who wants to learn a little bit more about how Amazon advertising works, and we'll continue with this series. So in fact, we are doing series of Amazon advertising, so we'll continue a couple of videos in the same topic. So thanks everyone. Bye for now.
Thank you so much, Prad. Bye.
Bye bye.